We're now going to talk about the objectives portion of the action plan tool. First, I want to think about the goal I set forward a little more, make it a little more specific. So let's say that my goal is to help medical students understand what grassroots organizing is, make sure that they have resources to learn skills in grassroots organizing, and understand how they can apply those skills to an issue that they in particular care about. Okay, that's still huge. How am I going to make that happen? The how I make it happen are the objectives. Objectives are things that give us a step-by-step plan and help us evaluate our plan at the end. And in order to make solid objectives, we like to use two popular acronyms, SMART, which is one many of you have probably heard of, and SWOT, which sounds funny and many of you probably haven't heard of. So let's walk through these two acronyms so that we understand how to make a solid objective. So an objective is SMART. It is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. By specific, I mean, let's see, my goal, right, is to have medical students generally understand organizing, have resources, and apply these skills to a specific issue. Nothing about that is specific. So maybe I'm going to say instead, I would like for medical students at my school, let's say 25 medical students at my school, to be trained in what organizing is, to have interactive training sessions on different kinds of advocacy, different kinds of organizing resources available to them, and to have small group sessions where they help do a project planning tool where they will apply the skills that they have learned to an issue they care about. So that tells me now who I'm working with, students at my school, the number of students at my school, what kind of training I want to do. I want it to be interactive. I want there to be small group sessions. All of these things are more specific and help me make decisions along the way. So for instance, when I'm starting to put this into action and 12 people from other schools ask if they can participate, it doesn't really fit within my objectives. And so I'd have to seriously consider, is there something about it that makes it so that it's valuable for them to participate, or should I really target it at the audience that I'd started with? Measurable. Measurable comes out of being specific, frankly. So I can say at the end of the day, did I have 25 students show up? Did I have interactive sessions? Did I have small group sessions? Did people come out with a project planning tool where they're going to apply the skills that they have now to an issue that they care about? I'm able to say at the end of the day, did I actually accomplish my objectives? So if I have no way of saying whether or not I accomplished it, it's not measurable. I should rethink what I'm doing as an objective. Let's see. A, achievable. Achievable is really just whether this is possible in the world as we know it. So I'm going to say mine is achievable because I've seen extracurricular trainings for medical students in different issue and skill areas. I've seen people show up. I've seen interactive sessions. I know all of these things are possible. Something that might not be achievable is me saying I want 25 medical students at every single medical school in the country to attend this kind of training. Might not be achievable because I don't know that there's ever been 25 medical students from every single medical school that have ever done anything in a coordinated way. Or maybe saying even I would like for every medical student in the entire country to have these skills, right? My pie in the sky vision is not achievable. No matter how much work I put into it right now, it's not going to happen. So I should focus my work on something positive that I can get accomplished. The R is realistic. Sounds sort of like achievable, but realistic implies or makes us think about if we personally have the capacity to make it happen. So I know that it's possible to do trainings with 25 medical students on a specific issue area. Is it realistic for me? Do I have someone who can run the trainings? Do I have different facilitators who can run small groups? Do I realistically think I can get 25 medical students interested in this kind of thing? All of those things tell me, even if it's achievable in the world, in the scheme of things as I know it, can I personally get it done? And this isn't meant to be sort of depressing or anything. It's just meant to say that you may as well put your energy towards something that you can make happen. So it's worth thinking at the beginning, can I get this done? Because it can be pretty demoralizing if you're working really hard at something and when you think back at the beginning, you would have known from the beginning it would have been really difficult, right? T is timely, excuse me, which suggests both a timeline of events for you and timely as in relevant. Is this something that matters right now? Is it something people are going to be interested in right now? For my grassroots organizing, I'm going to say yes, because Occupy Wall Street's happening. A lot of people are talking about it and are interested in it and want to know what's going on and want to understand what organizing is and what's happening. So it's something that I think will be relevant to people right now. So that's SMART. So let's say now my objectives are to recruit 25 medical students into a grassroots training from my school, to run 3 interactive sessions on different kinds of skills in grassroots organizing, to then run small groups where people will fill out a project planning tool to strategize how to apply these skills to an issue that they care about, and then to evaluate this program both by having students fill an evaluation out after each session, and then having an evaluation 6 months later when students have had a chance to apply these skills to see if they've actually been useful to them. Those are my different objectives that fit SMART. But now SWOT. What is SWOT? SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This is a way for us to take an inventory on whether this is a good project for us to do right now, or if we should think differently, if we should do a different kind of project, if we should make some different decisions about what our objectives are, or to give us a sense of what different kinds of resources we're going to need to recruit to help us accomplish this project. So strengths and weaknesses, strengths and opportunity sound pretty similar to each other. What does it mean? Broadly, a strength is something about us being the people implementing a project. An opportunity is something about the external world that might affect our project. So for example, strengths for my particular project could include things like I know people who can do grassroots training, so I have the resource of people who can train. I am able to advertise to medical students at my school very easily. That's a strength, something we have available to us. I have a team of AMSA national leaders who are experts in different issue areas who can be resources to the people in my program to help them understand how to apply these skills to issues that they care about. These are resources that we have personally that will help us accomplish this project. Opportunities are external things that, that work in our favor. So for example, an opportunity here is that this would be sort of unique. There aren't a lot of places for medical students to learn things about grassroots organizing. So I'm filling a void that exists. That's an opportunity for me to step up and take that place and actually provide that service. Other kinds of opportunities would be things like the dean of my medical school really supports advocacy and so is going to support this kind of training. External things like that tell us, yeah, this is a good thing for us to do right now. Weaknesses and threats, it's a similar thing. Weaknesses are internal things for us that will let us know if we have what we need to make this project happen. Threats are external things that will affect our ability to make this happen. So weaknesses may be things like we don't have trainers available. That's something that we don't have available to us. Or our school charges us for space when we want to do trainings, and so we have to find a way to pull money together in order to get space to do trainings. Or perhaps, no, those are good examples. For something like a threat, those are external things again. So threats could be things like there's another group who's already doing a training on something else, not even advocacy related because we said that that was an opportunity of ours, but on something else where students are going to want to go to both activities, so they're competing with us. So maybe not the best time for us to do this. That's a threat. If someone in the administration is not so favorable to to doing this kind of programming, whatever it may be, things that are external that suggest this is not the time for us to do this project. Another one would be that we only have 40 medical students per class, so maybe 25 medical students at my class is not very realistic, or is a sort of external thing that doesn't really make my project work. And so once we have this inventory down, we can truly think to ourselves, is this the best way to make this happen? If my faculty or dean is really not favorable to advocacy in medical school, if I have a small medical school class, and if, right there might not be the most realistic, achievable thing for me to do, I might want to rethink it. And so maybe a better opportunity for me would be to run a distance class where I could recruit medical students from multiple schools. Maybe I have trainers in mind who I think can do this, but they're far away anyway. And so if I run a distance program, that's okay. It makes sense as opposed to me having to have them sort of travel in to teach at my school. So it can make you stop for a minute and rethink and go back to those specifics of your objectives and say, is this really what I want to be doing right now? Again, evaluation comes at the end of the tool, what you want to do to evaluate, but you start thinking about evaluation or whether or not you succeeded from the very beginning in setting these objectives. All of these things will tell you, is this possible? Can I make this happen? And how will I know if I succeeded at the end? If you're thinking about that from the very beginning, you're able to make a lot of decisions a lot easier, and make sure that you focus your time when we have very limited time, that you're using your time to the best of your ability in a most effective and efficient way possible. Um, those are objectives. I love talking about objectives. I love reading other people's objectives and playing devil's advocate with them. So if ever you want to play with objectives, please let me know, hjf@amsa.org. Happy Objective Day! More on the project planning tool next.